Seniors are the fastest growing demographic in the cannabis industry. In a very short amount of time, your grandma, your mom, your dad, your granddad are going to try cannabis for the first time. But is that safe? Should they be doing that? How old should they be? What should they have? Should they have topicals, edibles? Can they smoke like everybody else? What's healthy? I wanted to hear from an expert, so we talked to Dr. Forrest Tennant, who specializes in pain management and has lots of seniors as patients. His answers may surprise you.
Older people need to not use anything, but they don't have to. Yeah. The idea that you're going to be pickled and mummified and aged in place, what the hell does that mean? There's absolutely zero evidence that cannabis is going to preserve organs. And that's what they're saying when they tell you you're going to age in place. They're trying to tell you that they're going to preserve your kidneys and your heart and your brain and your lungs. Incidentally, if you do get proof of that, let me know. I'm very interested.
Now that seniors are becoming such a big part of the cannabis industry, all these startups and companies are targeting them. So we talked to Octavia Wellness, which is a company that goes directly into retirement homes and introduces cannabis to seniors for the first time. They talk about what they should be doing, how they should be consuming it, and what's safe. Carrie, the founder, of course hopes that these seniors try it again and reorder. But more importantly, she's helping them get off the opioids and other pain pills that they take on a regular basis now. I'll get you started on an easy one. Just tell us what Octavia Wellness is.
Sure. Well, we are the first in-home direct sales cannabis company focusing on seniors.
Why seniors? I mean, why did you start with seniors?
2 years ago, my mom was actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and it was her caregiver in the nursing home in San Rafael that kind of whispered to me in the halls and said, you know, a lot of the people that have Alzheimer's use pot drops. And I was like, okay, I'd like some pot drops. I didn't know what she was talking about, but that started our journey.
And you just thought there's no good way for them to get access to it, or kind of how does it develop into what it is today?
Well, it was my life. And so what I decided to do was look and try to find out what would be good for my mom. And it was 2 years ago, which seems like light years. You know, it was a long time ago, considering how fast the industry is growing. Mm-hmm. But 2 years ago, I couldn't find anything about how to care for somebody with Alzheimer's. I had heard that there was information about it, and then when she used it, it was miraculous. She tried a gummy, and it was like she was 10 years prior. And
when do you think, hey, I could actually like productize this? Like we could have other people doing this. This could be a real business. When does that happen?
We decided, my mom and I, with how much this helped her and how much it was starting to help friends of hers and people that we knew, we made the decision to actually sell our house on Octavia Street in San Francisco, and it was
which is where the name comes from,
yeah,
correct?
We decided let's take this all the way and let's sell the house and let's start a company, and you can be our role model. And so that's how the journey began. And we sometimes laugh that she's our mascot, but it's been an amazing experience because how much cannabis works for this demographic. We're not saying that it's a replacement for all medications. It's not. But what it can do is it can help you be able to make some alternative choices and possibly reduce, and especially if you're on opiates, that's a whole other ball game.
Totally different.
Yeah, because there's constipation and there's falls, and you know, as soon as a senior gets on opiates, it's a very, very difficult path. It's a very difficult journey,
and they don't get off generally.
Yeah, but they want to,
and
that's what being able to with these planned senior communities, everybody lives in close quarters. And so they start talking about what's working for each of them. And it reduces that stigma because you see somebody thriving that previously wasn't thriving.
You know, the proof is in the pudding. And, you know, I've got issues that are being met and, in a way, celebrated because I've got the aches and pains and you know, scars from skiing accidents and so forth. And, you know, and I'm just so happy that, you know, to be part of this. And it's wonderful, actually.
9 out of 10 of our clients say is that they don't want to get high. And so understanding that and then listening to what their problems are. You know, we really have to understand what their tolerance is for THC, what other medications that they're taking, you know, if they have problems with mobility, if they risk falls, if they, you know, are having trouble sleeping, then, you know, how do they fall asleep right away or do they wake up in the evening? So there's a lot of questions that have to be asked for a senior.
And what would you say to somebody that's watching this that's maybe kind of nervous to introduce their grandmother or grandfather to cannabis? You know, how should they broach that subject?
We say that topicals are the gateway to cannabis for this demographic. And so you can, if you have pain, which almost all seniors do, at the beginning of our presentation, we always pass around a spray. We have a spray that we're now developing with our wonderful partners at External. And we pass around a spray. So if somebody has pain, and then we don't bring it up for 20 minutes, and then we say, so how are you feeling? And everyone's like, oh,
oh, wow.
And so,
that's awesome.
So once somebody experiences that, then usually they become more receptive to then going to tinctures or
whatever I gotta do. Give me a video
I
chat,
felt better.
whatever I gotta do.
I felt better.
So you can talk to doctors and experts and smart people all day about seniors. But I wanted to know for myself whether it was a good idea for seniors to consume cannabis. And can they go beyond edibles and topicals? Is it a good idea for a woman in her 70s to smoke a full flower joint? Well, we're gonna find out, and it was a lot of fun to find out. We met Barbara, who, although works in the cannabis industry, had never smoked a joint before. She was really, really worried about if she got too high, would she be able to stand up? Would she be able to walk? How would it debilitate her?
The effects of Zittles are surprisingly uplifting for an indica, leaving consumers focused, alert, and happy. Okay, so I feel uplifted.
Do you?
I do. As a senior, I think that seniors have issues that are a little bit different than maybe the younger population.
Your normal consumer, yeah.
There are actually studies that show a predictor of death within a year is a severe fall in a senior. So if I'm at home and I'm walking and I fall and I totally recover from the fall, it's quite possible that there was some underlying medical condition, and maybe I ought to be packing up and get ready. But so I think things like, so when I smoked this for the first time, I want to know, am I going to be able to walk? Am I going to need assistance? And I actually have a walker we could get if I needed it. But
how impaired are you going to be?
Right. I just, because for me, the first time, that was way more puffs than I had planned on taking. But they're not bad. They don't hurt. So it doesn't, I was concerned about the smell, because a lot of times when I open those jars, I think, whoo, whoo. So it didn't smell bad, and it doesn't taste bad. I also see people coughing a lot, and so I didn't draw enough to cough. There's this thing called age in place, and seniors don't want to have to move, especially in today's market. You know, if I have, a one-story house that's been paid for, even if I move into an efficiency, it's going to be expensive. So age in place. And what I actually, as a nurse, believe is that cannabis offers seniors that opportunity to age in place. Because a senior would say to me, I want to be able to go back into my garden, and I can't get down because my knees hurt. And, there's cannabis for that. Or a senior would say, I can't sleep at night.
So you think that cannabis potentially can help seniors stay in their own home longer?
Stay in their own home and have a successful life.
Wow.
which is
That's bold.
It is. It's quite.
That's
different.
a pretty big statement. I think people will be skeptical, though.
There are 27 long-term care facilities in Israel, and in every one of those, they now use cannabis. The reports are that families are coming to visit mom and dad and saying this is the first time they haven't been screaming, or my mom always begs me to take her home, and now she's not. Mom said, "How are you?" Even if she didn't know me, she now was verbal again. So that's huge for the senior market.
It's a big deal.
Taking a low and slow approach is best, to minimize any potential adverse effects like that. But I would say, that I see cannabis actually helping to prevent falls more than causing falls. Because their pain's better, they're moving more, they're able to exercise, they're increasing their strength, their muscles. There's all of these misconceptions about cannabis that I'm just finding not to be true. Some of the assisted living communities where we have Alzheimer's dementia patients who are really, late stage, they're extremely agitated and restless, and they're not sleeping, and they're going in and out of rooms, and they're falling because they're exhausted and they're just beside themselves, and we can get them on cannabis and start regulating their sleep again, and they're moving around better, and they're not sleeping during the day, and we just get them back to some sense of normalcy.
Do your parents know that you smoke weed? Does your grandma know? Have you been struggling to find a way to have that conversation? Show them this episode. Show them that there are other seniors that are using these products, topicals, edibles, tinctures, and improving their life. If nothing else, cannabis is a way for you to connect again with your parents or your grandparents. Spark the conversation. Share this video with them, even if you have to make it an email.